Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This time around I'm gonna be installing the DEI heat shield for the intake manifold and the fuel injectors and the fuel injector rail, because these vehicles that are equipped with the 4.0 inline 6 are known for heat soak or vapor locks. You know, on those hot days where you're running your AC and you go ahead and shut the vehicle off, come back 20-30 minutes later and it turns on and it idles very rough, then this should hopefully fix that issue. Also, if you haven't noticed, I'm in a garage. I bought a house and I have my own spot now that I can work on my vehicles and make more content for you guys, the viewers. So hopefully you guys follow along and let's go ahead and tackle this. Let's go. The next step is you're going to remove the intake, which I don't have the traditional intake that comes in here. I have an aftermarket one, as you can see, by Thor. Get yourself one because they're super awesome and they sound super cool. So you're going to go ahead and remove this, and then you're going to remove the throttle body. From there you're going to remove the bracket that holds the cables to the throttle body. There you go, get that out the way. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this real quick just to make life a little easier. That's one. Two. That one's loose. Huh. That one's fairly loose right there. Let's go ahead and remove any built up pressure from the fuel rail. Now what I'm also going to go ahead and do is, if you can see here, this is the throttle body. You see all that? I'm going to go ahead and take my time and clean that off. Make sure it's nice and clean. And I'll also go ahead and do the same for the mounting surface, both on the throttle body and on the intake manifold itself. Once you go ahead and remove all the bolts that mount the fuel rail to intake manifold, I want to make sure there's no other bolts that you forgot to untighten. Also, I went ahead and I labeled all the injectors, just so when I go to put everything back, I'm not wondering which one goes where. So grab a hold of here, grab a hold of over here, and just yank back, same pressure at the same time. Oh, righty then. Alright guys, so what I ended up doing is I couldn't remove this, it was a pain, so I gave up. So what I did was, I went ahead and I removed all of the fuel injectors from the fuel rail. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, hopefully you can see this with a little pick. I'm going to go ahead and remove each of the O-rings that stayed behind, and I'm just going to simply put them back on each of the injectors. I'm going to go ahead and mount this heat shield to the fuel rail. Now remember, I can't go ahead and remove the fuel line to the fuel rail, so what I'm gonna have to do, cut a straight line with my knife. I'm cutting a straight line here. This hopefully shouldn't affect anything. Now I should be able to go ahead and mount it how it's supposed to go. Let's mount it right there. There. Alright guys, so before I go ahead and mount the individual heat shield for each injector, the instructions state that you are to first install this, and this will be your intake manifold heat shield. So let me see how this one goes. Wonder if it goes this way. Interesting. Or does it go this way? Back here. So the next step is to go ahead and put the injectors back in. Once you go ahead and mount everything, next step is to go ahead and get your labeled tape, put it in the correct injector. Alright, the fuel injectors. From here on in, is pretty much just repeat the same process backwards and start mounting everything back up. Go ahead and grab this mount, bring it over here. Once you go ahead and get everything mounted up, you're going to go ahead and connect these cables. These are for the throttle and for the, I believe is the cruise control. Alrighty, bring down your intake. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I installed everything off camera. I took this apart like two more times. I found that the injector number 1 was leaking fuel when I turned the key over. So I took it apart, but then now all of a sudden number 3 started acting up. So I had to take it out again, and so what I did was when I turned the key over, and obviously the fuel pump is fueling the rail, I moved injector number 3 around, just wiggled it side to side, and then it stopped. So I hope it doesn't do it moving forward. I hope that it doesn't shift and then it starts leaking again. As of right now, it's not leaking, but I'm afraid that with the vibration of the engine and just driving on the road, the injector is going to move and it's going to start leaking again. So I gotta get that addressed. I might go ahead and just buy brand new injectors because I've been wanting to upgrade anyways from the 12 down to the 4 hole injectors, and I want to give those a try. But overall, again, it wasn't too bad. Just, you know, yanking the injectors one by one out of the fuel rail was an issue. It was just a pain because they were on there so tight, and then obviously I couldn't get the fuel line removed with that special tool, so I just gave up on that. So I just did everything with it connected. But other than that, like I said, thank you guys for coming this far into the video. If you haven't, just give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace.